Hey guys! Alright, welcome back to my channel. Today is not a reaction video, but it is a video about Amberlynn Reid because y'all will not stop blowing up my mentions, my DMs, my everything about these other channels that have gone missing from YouTube, right? Like there's some other channels that make content about Amberlynn Reid that have gone missing in the past week. Most recently it's been KDW, who has used some of my content before in her videos, things like that. But before that I think it was like Hamburgerlyn Reviews and Amberlard and some other channels like that. Now the most recent two that I just mentioned, Hamburgerlyn Reviews, wow, words, hard, and Amberlard, both of those channels, to my understanding, now I did not frequently watch videos on their channels, but to my understanding mostly just reposted Amberlynn's content without doing a ton of editing, but did add some like edits and things like that. Like I think Amberlard would frequently like add text on top or things like that. Those were the first two that like went missing, that people couldn't find, and then folks were just like, oh no, like let's start some prayer circles for KDW, for Michael B. Petty, for Zachary Michael, whoever, because we're worried that they're gonna come for those as well. So my philosophy when those first two channels went missing, that it was probably more so to do with like, they essentially were just reposting content. So I was a little bit shook when Katie's channel went missing. You know, I felt like she really did actually transform the content. If you hadn't watched her videos, she like very cleverly would edit videos of Amberlynn's to tell new stories or recreate things, and it was clearly like very clearly satire, like not serious. I don't think anybody probably took them to be factual about Amberlynn, for instance. And so people were shook when it went missing, and a lot of people have been asking me for my thoughts about it, want to know what I was thinking or who I think is responsible, whatever. And I yesterday very publicly on Twitter, well, and I say yesterday, I don't know when this is actually going to end up getting posted, hopefully soon, but yesterday on Twitter I did very publicly state that I don't think that Amberlynn is responsible for these things. I don't think that she's actively going out and giving copyright claims on channels. I don't think she's like, you know, flagging them for bullying or harassment. I don't think that she's doing any of those things, and I have quite a few reasons why I don't feel that way. We do know that, at least in Katie's instance, that it very specifically was that her channel was targeted for being what YouTube is claiming is harassment, bullying, things like that. And so, I don't know, I have a lot of questions about that personally because Katie did just get monetized recently. So if YouTube is really going through and like taking the like month that it took, actually it took like 3 months for them to review my channel before they monetize it. So if YouTube is really doing this process, then it doesn't make sense to me that they would approve her to be monetized as a part of the YouTube partnership program and then so quickly afterwards decide like, oh, remember when we said that we like were okay with putting ads on your videos? Well, smell you later, bye. Like, we no longer want you to have a channel at all. So that is all weird to me, whatever. Now the thing is that YouTube has been very heavily cracking down on just hate channels in general. That's what they call them. Things that violate their policies and things like that. And I think in a lot of cases that's probably good. Like, one of the reasons that it is so hard to, you know, get channels monetized on YouTube is because there's companies that are afraid that their advertising dollars are going to get tied to like Nazis and hate speech and things like that. So like, I would hope that YouTube is taking them down. I don't know that personally my feelings about Katie's channel is that it was hate speech or anything like that. Like, I think it was very clearly like satirical, and while it was poking fun at Amberlynn, I don't think that it's even the worst things that I've seen out there said about Amberlynn, if that makes sense. So, I don't know, I guess that doesn't necessarily make it right, but I also don't know that I would file it under harassment or bullying. Now, when I posted and said that I don't think that Amberlynn is responsible for this, somebody was very quick to tweet me back and be like, oh, that sounds like somebody who is worried about them being next. And like, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about being the next person to lose their channel. I don't think that that's something that's gonna happen. I'm not worried in terms of, you know, the copyright issue. I've been through that mess with Chantal before, and I'm still here. I made it out on the other side, and Chantal was wrong. So I'm not worried about that, and I honestly, truly, if people are actually sitting down and reviewing channels to make these decisions and watching the content supposedly, then I don't think anything on my channel should be viewed as harassment, bullying, etc. I've said that before, I don't feel that way. So with that being said, I think that there are a lot of reasons to, you know, believe that Amberlynn is not responsible for this. You know, I think that Amberlynn has a very good understanding of how YouTube works. I think that she's very aware, as I've said multiple times on my channel, of the community that is built around her channel. And I honestly don't think that she would take the time to get rid of channels that ultimately continue to bring people to her channel. Additionally, there was a stream that I did recently where I said that I had some level of tea that I was waiting to share and for the right time to share, and this was actually not a part of what I thought that the right time would be, but I think that it's applicable in terms of explaining why I don't think that Amberlynn has it out for like hate channels or channels that don't view her positively or negatively. So the tea is that about, I think maybe a week ago now, probably maybe a little bit less, Amberlynn actually unblocked me on Twitter to reach out to me and ask me if I could teach her how to edit videos so that they could do the reaction where you have the little like video in the corner like I do it. And so she gave me permission to share that with you all. I told her I was making this video and that I wanted to make sure that I had her permission to share that, because I think that that speaks, this was before, at least before Katie's channel went missing. I don't know where it falls in the timeline of when the other two channels went missing, but she clearly wants to work with the channels that are making videos about her. You know, I mean, I guess I'm just one of many people that she could have reached out to, and she probably didn't reach out to these other channels, so maybe that's not a fair thing. But you know, if I'm thinking about somebody who's trying to like eliminate all of the negative critique, I wouldn't be thinking, yeah, let me go reach out to somebody who has critique about me to ask them for help. So I don't really think that that is something that she would do. It just doesn't make sense, because she genuinely did want my help, as you'll see from screenshots of our messaging on Twitter. So, since I've been messaging with her on Twitter, I did just also ask her if she was responsible for these things, and, you know, she adamantly denies it. You know, Amberlynn has lied about things in the past. We've caught her in lies about things in the past, but we really have no factual evidence that suggests that Amberlynn is going and flagging any kind of channels for any kind of reason. It's not in her behavior. She's not done this in the past that we know of, or at least that I know of, and so I don't think it's fair to make the jump to say that Amberlynn is doing it. In general, there's probably some questions that folks like myself, like Michael, Willow, anybody else that makes videos about Amberlynn, there's probably some questions we need to ask to make sure that we are meeting these policies, and I do think that to some extent we should maybe be concerned, but I don't think jumping to conspiracies is the best thing. And that leads me to say that I've really tried to make my channel based in fact, right? Like, me reacting to a video of what's happening on a screen that a YouTube creator puts out, that's my genuine reaction, and me reacting to the things that they're doing or saying is fact. Like, I can't make up whatever it is they're doing in the video, right? And I try not to add any backstory to what's happening that I don't know as a fact that hasn't been said in another video, right? Like, it is not dishonest of me to bring in videos of Chantel talking about having sex with a homeless guy, because those are things that she said. It's not genuine for me to put things about CPS, or, and by CPS I mean Chantel calling CPS, or things about Amberlynn and her pets, or things like that, because those are all things that they have documented themselves on video, so we know those to be fact. I'm not interested in conspiracy theories. Like, for both Chantel and Amberlynn, they both have done enough problematic things in the world and on camera for the whole world to see without us like making up a whole bunch of things about them. That just discredits my channel when I give value to things that we don't know to be true. And I might, you know, might be really like kicking myself in the ass later when it comes out that Amberlynn is responsible for all of this. But for right now, I just don't think that anybody has that information or knowledge as a fact to say. So with that, I also want to say, because some people have messaged me and or tagged me in things about wanting to, you know, retaliate and flag her channel or flag other channels, and I just don't think that that's productive either. As somebody who has had their channel falsely flagged for copyright strike, it's not a fun process. It takes a long time. YouTube doesn't make it easy to get those things taken away, and while I eventually did, I wouldn't want anybody to go through that process that didn't deserve it. You know, I don't want KDW or these other channels to be in this situation either, but it doesn't make sense to go put that negative energy back onto Amberlynn for this, especially when we don't even know if she did it, you know? Does that make sense? So, I hope that clears some things up. I know not everybody's gonna agree with me. I know that some of you are intent on this being Amberlynn's fault, Amberlynn's responsibility, and you're welcome to think that, but until I have like some kind of concrete proof or evidence, which by the way, I've also talked to KDW, from what it sounds like, she has nothing that says that like Amberlynn specifically filed any kind of claim against her. So, you know, we have nothing, y'all. Stop grasping at straws and focus on the things that she puts out there that are problematic enough, right? Like, y'all don't need to make things up about her to find problems with her channel or with her as a person, you know? So, I hope this answered your questions. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe down below. Leave me some comments about your thoughts about this whole situation. Hit the like button, and as always, follow me on all of my social media down below. It's right here. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!